you scruffy-headed nerd herders. This is our YouTube channel, episode 1. I'm David.
I'm Callan.
And I'm Patrick. And I promise we will get the audio situated next week.
Trial run. So bear with us. And today we're going to be talking about Vision and the Mortal Kombat photo releases. So to get started, Zamora, your thoughts and your takes on the WandaVision 2 episode premiere.
So I know I got the text from you guys about it just kind of being I actually really enjoyed this because it was something completely different. I actually watched this with my wife, and she was absolutely into it too. I like the whole like Bewitched style to it. I actually felt myself laughing quite a bit, as corny as it was. And I absolutely realize that these are setup episodes. So I hope they don't get too far away from like what they're doing here. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I know they're not going to stay black and white forever, but I still hope that they have some sort of something that keeps them unique. So yeah, no, I really liked it. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably say 7.5 out of 10. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, I liked the callbacks like Bewitched, I Love Lucy, and even Pleasant. I got like really Pleasantville vibes from that too, like especially the changing of colors and everything.
Yeah.
And definitely interested to see where they build up. Like they were definitely build up episodes, like take them for what they were, because of course it's not going to just be an end game style episode right off the bat. They're building up for Disney Plus in the future. So I'm just really interested to see on what's going on with Vision, because last time we checked, that motherfucker was dead. Now he's just around and kicking, and like $1 billion product and like one piece of gum messes him up. Like that was funny. That was interesting. Especially to me, I was like, did he forget he could phase into himself? Like he just did that earlier.
It was all messed up. You didn't remember.
Yeah. But yeah, I like what they did there. And I thought it was refreshing, different from all the other Marvel stuff we saw. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
I didn't have a lot of expectations with this show. How do I put this nicely?
You don't gotta be nice, be real.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I thought these first 2 episodes, aside from the little like hints of where it's going, were awful.
Oh shit! Shots fired.
The whole 60s throwback thing, I appreciate what they were trying to do, but to reiterate, one of my favorite TV reviewers, Alan Sepinwall, I believe he writes for the Rolling Stone, for this type of introduction to a show, if you're going to use this format of the whole black and white sitcoms, half of your audience is not going to know what these are, which is going to be the youth. And by youth, I mean your 12 to 20-year-olds. They're not going to know the show is referencing. And if you're going to do that, you have to have that in mind. And it was one of those things where my mom liked this because she watched those shows when she was a child. The I Love Lucy's, the Genie, and to me, this is more PTSD when I was at my grandma's house as a kid, because I hated I Love Lucy. It was annoying. And it was just, I don't know, it just didn't nail it for me. The end of episode 2 is where it kind of really started to get my attention with, okay, she's trapped there somewhere, obviously. She's in an alternate reality. It seems like we don't know. We got to keep going. But I was just like halfway into episode 1, I was just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it dragged on a little.
And it was just kind of like, the jokes just didn't nail it for me. And I don't know. It just, for me, for it being the first Marvel TV show and supposedly the beginning of Phase 4, it just, I don't know. It just didn't hit it for me. I was not a fan, but I'm going to keep watching because I know Marvel, they have they have the track record of paying off what they do. So I know it's going to pay off. I just didn't think to start it was a good first impression. So if I were to grade it, I'd give it like a 5.5 out of 10.
Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to go like 2 or 3. Also, one last thing I do want to say, I thought my favorite character in the whole show was Catherine Hahn's character, the neighbor.
Oh yeah.
I always felt like she's one of the best like actresses in Hollywood as like a secondary character. I think she's hilarious, and she like just totally went like all in on the whole like 50s 60s TV show vibes. Yeah, I absolutely.
She was perfect in her role.
Yeah. So that's it.
So yeah, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's definitely worth it if you're a Marvel fan.
Unless your name is Callan.
Unless your name's Callan or you're anything like him, then you're gonna hate it.
We'll see.
So moving on to our next subject, Mortal Kombat. The photo releases were just released, what, a couple days ago?
Yeah, so for those who are unaware, I mean, most people should have caught on by now, but a lot of people don't pay attention to this stuff like we do. So every Warner Brothers film that was slated to come out last year is now being released this year simultaneously in theaters for those theaters that are open, which are what, 5? And then onto HBO Max. So in April, we will finally get the long-awaited Mortal Kombat reboot. From what I understand, the guy who developed the story of the Mortal Kombat web series from 10 years ago, almost, is behind the story of this, but has James Wan attached. Of course, James Wan is Aquaman. He directed Aquaman and he produced The Conjuring. Is that what he did?
I believe so.
I think he also directed the first one.
Yeah, so it has good people behind it. And so this is going to focus on a brand new character named Cole. I can't find the last name right now. And I'm reading this off of Entertainment Weekly. So it's a new character named Cole. He finds he has that Mortal Kombat symbol, the dragon embedded on his skin, and he goes to the temple of Shang Tsung. And we all know the story there. He enters the tournament of Mortal Kombat, and he encounters all the famous Mortal Kombat characters such as Sonya Blade, Jax, etc. So for what we can gather, this movie's going to focus on Sub-Zero being the villain, it sounds like. It's going to have Scorpion as well. There's not too much revealed. I mean, we just have these images, like one image is of, it looks like Sub-Zero is about to kill Scorpion and when they're in human form. So this is like before.
How it all goes down.
The next photo we have is probably the most exciting. We have the shot of Sub-Zero creating the ice.
The ice wall.
Yeah, so if that image looks up, I mean, we're into some really exciting things.
I mean, I'm stoked. I mean, because honestly, we're finally getting the story of like 2 heavy hitters of the franchise, Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Like, I'm excited that we're straying away from mainly Liu Kang and Raiden and Shang Tsung, all those guys. So yeah. I'm glad we're finally getting what the people want, which is always the number one question. Who are you? Who are you fighting, Sub-Zero or Scorpion?
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be dope. And then out of the photos too, I think the photo of Kano is actually pretty dope too. I like what they did with his eye. It doesn't look as cheesy and like overdone as like some of the video game renditions or even live action movies of the past. So all we can really hope for is that it's the complete opposite of Annihilation.
Your expectations and concerns.
Expectations. I just want a simple start to finish storyline, not too many open-ended questions, just of Sub-Zero and Scorpion and their clans and how they come across each other and how they start their rivalry. So I think that could be the biggest potential for how they move forward. My biggest concern would we're doing it with the fatalities. Like, yes, we love fatalities if you've ever played Mortal Kombat games, but I don't want to see it super Saw-like and like just over the top. Like, just make it simple, make the cuts clean, and just get the point across with your fatality. And I think that'll be better than trying to overdo it with like 20 buckets of blood.
I have zero expectations for this movie. I think this is going to crash and burn.
Ooh.
I think it's going to be awful.
So obviously you're a Street Fighter guy.
No, I want this to be good. I do. I love the Mortal Kombat video games, but I have zero expectations for this movie. I just hasn't, other than James Wan being attached to it, like there isn't really anything that gets me excited about the movie. Even the images are just kind of like, all right, like cool, I guess. I don't know. I'm not. I want this to be good. I do. But I think I have to. I'm excited for it, yeah, but I'm trying to temper my expectations just because I don't want to go in thinking this is going to be what I've always wanted out of a Mortal Kombat movie and then just be completely disappointed by it. And yeah, I'm trying to go in with zero expectations so that I can, quote unquote, walk out of my living room, not the theater, walk out of my living room, just, being like, oh yeah, I enjoyed that. Not coming out of my living room being like, oh man, I really wish they would have just like done this or just done that. Really the only thing I care about is like have some good action, like keep the like cheesiness like to a minimum and just, I don't know, give us what we want, which is just give me Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I don't care about anything else.
Hell yeah. Don't overstuff all the characters in there like every other franchise.
So my expectations, well, first and foremost, is more raw fight sequences. Yesterday morning, I was just kind of sitting on my couch getting my morning started, and the first Mortal Kombat movie was like on TV, so I watched a little bit of that. And as I was watching it, I was realizing, the fights in this movie aren't that bad, but what makes them like disappointing is that there's so much editing and stylization going on. By that I mean they like edit it to the point where it's like more slow-mo than fast fighting. So for me, I hope this is more on the fighting level of like movies like The Raid, where it's more fast and kind of bone-breaking, or even the John Wick type of fighting style too when it comes to hand-to-hand. And I think we might, because some of the actors in this movie have been in movies like that, especially I think his name's Joe Tasliman. He was an actor in The Raid. He's playing Sub-Zero. My concerns are what you said, Patrick. I think this has the potential more. I think this movie has the potential of more being bad than it will be good, but I hope I'm wrong. My concern is the overstuffing and the director, because this director is no one, and sometimes that's a good thing. But this director literally has like 2 or 3 commercials to his name, so that's a little alarming. You could argue that maybe, and we'll talk about this probably when the movie's out, but it already creates the argument like, do you think maybe James Wan should have directed this? Do you think maybe they should have gotten Gareth Evans, the guy who made The Raid, or maybe even the guy who did John Wick to do this movie? We don't know. We won't know until it comes out.
When we all know they should have just got Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, that too.
That would have been great.
I have slight expectations, but I'm trying to go in open-minded because we all know how bad the first 2 movies were. We know the history of video game movies. So we'll just have, it's one of those where we're going to have to wait and see. And we don't even have a trailer yet. So that's going to even.
Hopefully we get one by Super Bowl.
Yeah. So if we get like a Super Bowl trailer or even some sort of full length within the next week or 2, because the release day's right around the corner, hopefully that'll give us a better idea of what we can expect. So, but then again, trailers are really good at editing to make things look good. And then you go see it and then it's a dumpster fire. So yeah, we'll have to see, but I'm excited for it to an extent. I'm trying not to get my hopes up because of the things I just mentioned. So we'll have to wait and see. Like you said, Patrick and David, I just hope we get the meat and potatoes of Scorpion and Sub-Zero just wrecking shop, and that's all I could ever ask more for MK.
Yeah. So yeah, leave a comment under our post. Let us know what you think about these Mortal Kombat photos and what you expect. Also subscribe to our channel, The Nerd Herd. Right below, there's a link somewhere. We'll put it there, and you can find it.
Like.
Give us a like. Come on, people. But yeah, let us know what you think about WandaVision. What do you think about Mortal Kombat? And tune into our other video where we discuss our full rankings of Star Wars, all 11 live action films.
Talk way too much.
We do. So if you got some time to kill, go for it. I mean, and especially if you do love Star Wars, even if you don't know anything about it, there might be some good stuff in there for us to at least persuade you at the right films to watch, at least the top 3, and definitely our bottom 3 of what to really avoid so you don't waste even more of your time.